Hello? Is anyone here? Hello? Oh God, what is that? What? I gotta get out of here. Oh, what is that? Not again. Hello? Who's there? Hello? Hey, hello? It's the new fucking year, and I hope you guys have had a great holiday and a great beginning to your year. And with the new year comes a new FNAF phase. I've been seeing all the fucking TikToks. I'm seeing everything about Five Nights at Freddy's coming back. All the people who were in middle school and high school when it came out are now probably in their 20s. That's me. And I'm just living through it right now. I'm just living through it again. I've already rewatched Markiplier and all the game theories. I'm already doing that. So it's safe to say that I'm in my FNAF phase again. But I have Security Breach to thank for that. And oh yeah, you might be wondering what your boy thinks of the game, because I have a mixed bag of a bunch of different emotions tied with this game. Well, sit back, strap in, and let's head over to Roxy Raceway. Just try not to get fucking bodied like she did. Five Nights at Freddy's is back, and it's probably the most ambitious game in the series. You might be able to argue with FNAF VR, Help Wanted, but in terms of like size, this one takes. The map is fucking huge. It's a mega pizzaplex, and they do a great job of showing that it's a fucking big ass corporate establishment. And because the map is so big, it lends itself to being both a good thing and a bad thing. But we're going to talk about the good things first. Since it's so big, they managed to pack in a bunch of stuff that make it actually feel like it's in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe. And that was something I was worried about going into this game, because instead of being a point and click horror game, it's now a modern first person style horror game, which isn't a bad thing. And I think even for it being a Five Nights at Freddy's game, it's still not a bad thing. I think everything in the game, putting it together, all the references and stuff, make it feel like it's a Five Nights at Freddy's game, even though it is only one night. Right when you go into the game, you walk around and you see all these like glass cases full of a bunch of different references and a bunch of different toys and pictures from the old games and a bunch of different things from the quote unquote establishment itself. But it's all stuff from the old games. And it's really cool seeing all that. It makes it really feel grounded in its own universe. It makes me feel nostalgic. But the game itself doesn't rely on nostalgia to stand up on its own 2 feet when it comes to it being its own game within the universe. I mean, yeah, it has a bunch of different references to the older games, but I mean, it's just part of the lore at this point. The game has its own cast of characters, and since the map is so big, they've put in a bunch of different areas that are based off of the brand new characters that we see. But not to say that there aren't any based off of some of the old characters. The map itself, and I guess the whole game itself, feels like it balances what's new and what's old very well to remind you that, yeah, this is where we came from, but this is also a brand new Freddy Fazbear experience. And it doesn't like stop there. Along with the map size, the map design is something very welcoming and is very aesthetically pleasing. The 80s art style and all the messy hair and all the vaporwave stuff and all the neon lights, that's always going to be okay with me because I fucking love it. Like, if there was a decade I'd love to live in, it'd be the fucking 80s. But anyways. And not only do I like it a lot, but I think they objectively nailed the art style for the game really well. A lot of like typical horror games are a very, dark, gritty, sort of like gory aesthetic. It's very creepy to walk around. But this game reminds us that a game doesn't have to be cookie cutter horror themed to be a horror game. It's really jarring having this child friendly establishment contrasted by all the shit that goes on behind the scenes. And I think that's part of what really makes Five Nights at Freddy's successful. It's just now the more childlike establishment is pushed to the front instead of you being in a really scary pizzeria. And maybe I'm looking too into it, but the game definitely reflects this sort of caricature that is in, you know, our real life society, where lots and lots of business practices are not very moral, and a lot of these giant companies will exploit their workers, their time, their money, and their energy for just monetary gain. It might look nice on the outside, but behind the scenes, it ain't pretty. But I do think that that's another place where this game shines. I also like that Freddy is sort of your savior and your mentor and your guide throughout this whole thing. It pairs really well with the mechanics of the gameplay, where it's like, oh, Freddy is your savior, and whenever you're in a pickle, you can just press Q and he can come save you right away. I think giving that new spin on Freddy Fazbear is really interesting to me. And it really adds a layer of like safety, where it's like, wow, finally! For the first FNAF game ever, one of them is on my side. Overall, the game does a good job making it stand out from every other game. But just because there's a bunch of good things in a game doesn't mean that there aren't any bad things. And there are a lot of them. Oh, great heavens! Let's jump right into that. Now, hearing all the things that I've been saying about the game so far, you'd think that I think the game is really wonderful.
Wrong-o.
Sort of. Look. I ain't no game developer, and I've mentioned that before. Obviously, I ain't no game developer. And I also know that no game is perfect. Every game's gonna have their flaws. Every game has some bugs, you know, it's just par for the course. I enjoyed this game as a whole, as Five Nights at Freddy's. But there's just some things that I can't ignore. And given that this game was in development for probably 3.5 years or so, you'd expect some things to not be there, such as bugs. But it seems like at almost every turn, there's a bug, a texture glitch, a glitched animation, something like that. I've noticed all the time, throughout the whole game, all the time. And with any final product, you shouldn't have this many things in the game that are incomplete. Throughout my playthrough of the game, there were so many bugs that took me out of the immersion of the game, but they weren't really game breaking. But there were actually a few game breaking bugs that also happened in the game that just completely stopped any mechanics from working. Here's a few of them. What the fuck? He's just going through. I got it at least. Yeah. So I'm supposed. Okay. What the fuck? It didn't load in. Something's wrong with this. Something's wrong. And those are just the ones that I got. I'm sure other people have gotten plenty other ones as well. The game feels unpolished and unfinished. Now, there's another reason why I feel like the game is unfinished, but we'll get into that in just a second. I want to stay on the topic of the mechanics right now. All right, hear me out. Earlier, I was like, oh, FNAF being first person is a good thing. I think that, but there's a lot of missing FNAF mechanics in this game. Now, be it that this game is a different kind of game and not just a sit down, point and click sort of game. You move around and all that shit. It's different. But I have an example. The thing that makes Five Nights at Freddy's is the fact that through the whole series, you've needed to juggle things around. You've needed to multitask and micromanage to make sure you stay alive. The example I used in my other Five Nights at Freddy's video is you close the door and you're safe, right? You're safe from the animatronics, but you use power more. You're vulnerable in that sense where like you waste the power, you're done. But you also can't stay out of your camera for too long or else Freddy's gonna get you. You have to open your camera to look at Freddy and also check for Foxy. It's just a bunch of different things you need to juggle. And that has made its way through all the Five Nights at Freddy's games, except for this one. Now, you could say, oh, but Glambo, there's no way to do it. You'd have to make it the same sort of game as the old ones. You can't make it a first-person game and run around and have that sort of thing. And that's a fair argument. And I can see why some people might think that. It might be just more difficult for it to be an enjoyable experience for the game. But they did. In this game, But it was only for a really short amount of time where I felt like it was like, oh, this feels like Five Nights at Freddy's. It was the part where you had to fend off against Roxy and Monty while Freddy had to go below and open the fucking Among Us vent. You had to juggle between looking at the cameras for Freddy to save you and also defending off against both of the animatronics coming after you. You had to light the doors on fire or whatever. I think that's what you had to do. That felt like Five Nights at Freddy's, but nowhere else in the game that I can recall felt that same way. It feels like more cookie cutter horror game with the Five Nights at Freddy's logo slapped onto it. It feels less innovative than its predecessors. And maybe that has something to do with Scott's departure from the franchise, because literally he made the other ones by himself. So he had all the creative freedom, all the innovation, all the 9 yards to get it done. And that's not to say that there weren't any unique parts of the game. I really liked where you had to make a pizza for Chica and you had a certain amount of time to do it. That kind of felt like FNAF to me. And each of the mini games for the animatronics were pretty fun. I liked the Phaser Blast one. That was all right. Also the mini golf one, Monty's mini golf one, where you had to shoot the balls into the ball pit. That one was pretty all right. And for Roxy's, you had to go to the DJ booth. I like him. I like the Music Man. He's cool. But I didn't really like having to go reset the breakers and flip them on. I wasn't a huge fan of that one. It just kind of seemed lazy. But that one did give us the funniest cutscene, I'll say that. And Chica's mazer size puzzle. This was the dumbest puzzle I've ever done in a video game, ever. The little monitor that's supposed to be your reference for flipping all the switches to see what you've done and what you haven't done doesn't show you anything. You have to like go through the maze to find out what you switched and what you didn't switch. There's no bird's eye view thing that you can be like, oh, that's different. You just have to like straight up trial and error that shit. Like I spent an hour and a half on just that part in my stream. There's no reference for anything. I feel like there could have been a lot of thought going into a lot of these things, but there just wasn't, which is another reason why I think the game is unfinished. Now earlier, when I said there was another reason why I feel like this game is unfinished, we're gonna come back to that right now. And it involves the story. On top of the game not feeling like it's finished on a technical standpoint, on a narrative standpoint, it just kind of seems like it was redone, reworked, or something. I don't know, but it just seems like it's not fully there. And I've seen a lot of people talk about this because in the trailer for the original PlayStation State of Play, where they first showed it off, you see Vanny in there, and it's like, she's kind of like, oh, we need to get out of here. We need to make you safe. We need to make sure you get out safely. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. But then you also hear this other guy's voice, which can presumably, I said presumably, be probably William Afton or Springtrap or Glitchtrap, just kind of saying like, no, or whatever, I don't know. He's nowhere to be found in the game at all. I mean, you see Springtrap at the very, very end, at the fucking ending or whatever, but he wasn't anywhere else. Vanessa was supposed to be our guide, and Vanny was supposed to be the one that was trying to stop us. I don't know if they're the same person or not. I'm not too sure. I don't know if they're different. Whatever. I don't know. But the trailer gave us a certain expectation that the game didn't deliver on. And you can also say, oh, but Glambo, you're judging the game based off the trailer. And that's a fair point. That is a very fair point. Because if there was a bad trailer to a game, nobody will be talking about the bad trailer if the game wound up to be really good. Like, nobody would be talking about the trailer. So why would I be talking about it now? Is because it carries over to the game. Not only in the trailer was Vanessa made out to be a bigger deal, and also Vanny. In the game, at the very beginning, it was also seeming like that too. But it never paid off at the end. All you got was like, oh, Vanny saying, oh, you deserve a reward. Go to the main stage. And nothing was there. Like, just listen to this trailer real quick.
When I first found you, you were nothing. You were small, pathetic. But now, you are more. Are you ready?
Gregory, we can get you out of here. You and me together. They won't stop hunting you. None of them will stop hunting you.
You will do as I say. You will bring me what I want. And if you fail me, then you will. Both of you burn!
Where was literally any of that in the game? Like, instead of having all that juicy stuff, everything in the game is so vague. And I know coming from a Five Nights at Freddy's game, that's not really that far off. But it just seems like we were lied to, or like it seems like we were misled to think that it was going to be about something else. I don't know. It just, unless they're playing the long con where they're like, oh, this is here now, but another 8 years from now, when we finally learn William Afton actually fucked Spring Bonnie with his spring wiener, that's how he became Spring Trap, and he had spring babies that then haunted the new ultra mega pizzaplex. That's my new theory I came up with based off of this game. Honestly, the working theory for me is they had a very ambitious way of going about telling the story, but they realized too late that they couldn't do it because they already set a 2021 release date, but they realized too late that they couldn't put it all together and make it cohesive, so they had to scrap a bunch and change some things up and take stuff out. You know, I feel like maybe it might come in the next game if there's gonna be another game, which there probably will be, but this game just feels incomplete. But as a whole, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach is a hoot and a holler in a bunch of different ways, good and bad. The game visually and atmospherically captures Five Nights at Freddy's so very well, but mechanically and gameplayically leaves some to be desired. It stays true to the theme that has been the same for almost, 8 years now? And also, I forgot to mention, they have a really cool reference to an early, really well-made FNAF fan game in this game. And if that ain't in the spirit of Five Nights at Freddy's, then I don't know what is. The game tries to innovate on a couple things, but it doesn't really wind up working out. It kind of just seems like a cookie cutter horror game. But the spirit of Five Nights at Freddy's is still very much here, and that is a good thing. But you're probably thinking, hey, what the fuck is the rating? What are you gonna rate it? Well, I'm glad you asked. The Rally rating for Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach gets a 5.5 out of 10. The game, like I said, leaves a lot to be desired mechanically and gameplay wise, and it has so many bugs, but I love it. I'm not even gonna lie, I love it. I can't ignore all the bad stuff, but honestly, I love it. And the game just oozes Five Nights at Freddy's with its atmosphere. The game is important to me. Five Nights at Freddy's is important to me, as I'm sure it is to so many other people. You know, I love it. And it's been a big part of my life, as I mentioned in my other video. So I can't help but love it, even though I see all of its shortcomings. But that is the conclusion of the Rally review. I hope you guys really enjoyed it, and I thank you for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one. Holy shit. I can't believe you guys made it to the end of the video. This is incredible. You know, I really honestly thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching the whole video. I'm sorry this video is so late. I am struggling with a lot of motivation stuff because I have a lot of stuff going on in my life right now. Work, I'm moving out with a special someone. But yeah, that's happening, and that it's a lot to think about. But I'm honestly super psyched about it, and I'm super excited for it. But I'm finally glad I was able to release this, and we're going to try to keep a steady stream of content coming throughout the year. This was the first video of the year, which is a month late. Not a month late, a few weeks late. But I'm just glad you guys watched it, and I'm glad you made it to this point, and I'm glad I could release it. You guys are awesome. I'm going to try to keep posting my clips on TikTok and all that stuff. But you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching the video. Honestly, I can't thank you enough for getting to this point.
Oh, and don't think I didn't notice that this video almost has 1,000 views. What the fuck? I posted a clip of that video on my TikTok and it just fucking blew up. Like, you know, blew up, whatever. But like, the support you guys gave in the comments, it was so heartwarming. You guys are so awesome. Like, that made me like, that almost made me cry. It was so like wholesome. I really want to thank you guys for that. All the kind words you said. It was so nice. Thank you so much. And one more thing. I wanted to promote the stream. I tend to stream on the weekends. Thursday, Friday, Saturday in the evening, sometimes Mondays. Eastern time, around 10, 11 p.m. in the evenings. I've been playing Dark Souls. Oh, fuck. He just fucking whacked. Dude! Dude, what the fuck, man? Dude! Lately, because I'm doing a little road to Elden Ring. But if you want to check it out, come stop by the stream one time. And I also have a Discord that I'll put the link in the description for. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. We're going to keep it going for the rest of the year. We're starting strong. And yeah, we're just going to keep growing. And if you do wind up visiting the stream, let me know that you came from the video. That would be awesome. We can talk about the video. We can talk about whatever. Just let me know that you came from the video and we'll talk about that. But other than that, that's it for the rest of the video. Your boy Clambo is out of here. See ya.